80-20 advantage until the final picks on both sides apparently threw that advantage over to the side of PSG Quest. Avery, as another analyst, do you feel the same about this?
I don't know. I feel like I kind of like what Quest got going on, honestly. I think this Troll's going to have a really tough time in the team fights. He has Doom to deal with. He has Coddle kiting him out to deal with. There's not a natural gap close mechanism.
The smoke breaks on TA2000, who was melded up the high ground and will instantly give away the first blood. This is actually looking good for maybe more. They trade out 1 for 1, but with that Burrow Strike stud and the follow-up from Ame, the AoE damage is clearing through multiple PSG Quest heroes. They're going to get a third kill out of this, a 3-for-2 exchange. And Ame is going to be a very happy boy after that one.
I mean, most of these XG heroes are going to be very happy. They're already halfway to level 2 on 2 of these cores between the Troll and the Venge. And the Troll...
And he gets the bounty rune too. Is he going to get the third one as well?
They're going to get all 4.
Oh my God.
This
they actually got 4?
Absolute disaster for PSG Quest here.
Okay.
I mean, this Troll is already up to 1,500 net worth. He is... He's already double the net worth of the lowest Quest hero, so you have some work to do in this laning phase. I think that was the one weakness of this lineup for PSG Quest as well, is the lanes can be tough for you. Mid's going to be a wash because you're going to be able to shove it out with Coddle, but this Troll Phoenix lane is no joke for a melee offlaner in the Doom, and the Sand King Jakiro lane in theory can just shove you in as well. So XG looking to win 3 lanes here and come out guns blazing, especially off 4 runes of First Blood and a favorable kill exchange. Just a ridiculous start for them.
Okay, so we heard the panel and you started talking about how you just think it's going to be a hard Troll game. That's fair enough. What do you make of the Venge mid? It seemed like the panel really did not like it. Is this viable? Can we just run Venge mid like this?
Conceptually, it's strong this game in a sense of if you can ever swap in the Coddle or the TA straight into the Troll, then the Troll doesn't have to worry about getting kited out or doomed or whatever. He's just going to stick on that target, bring them down, and Quest to lose a lot of their damage in the fight. I think that part of it makes sense, but the synergy with the lineup for me isn't necessarily there. Like, sure, you can throw this wave in for the Troll, you can maybe save him off a swap, but this was supposed to, in my opinion, be kind of your teamfight initiator. I don't know how much you can rely on Sand King. You can rush a Blink on Sand King, but it hasn't been too effective in this meta. This is kind of like your Storm Spirit mid-roll, and Venge can sometimes struggle to fulfill that because the swap is not that good of an initiation until the level 2 at the level 12 for the hero. Of course, he has a tremendous start here, which is definitely going to help. If you can gank this Coddle once or twice, I think XM could have a really nice game here. And of course, XM, also a player that kind of makes these weird niche mids thrive.
Yes, he is by far the most innovative mid coming out of China. And this just adds one more hero to his weird hero pool, as he has never played Vengeful Spirit mid before. I mean, he's got one competitive match technically. It's in some in-house league from 2017. So this is really the first official match that he's played it. So Extreme pulling out something when they need it. Do you think you could do this against other heroes other than Coddle?
Yeah, it might even be better against a lot of the other mid pool. I think this matchup's kind of weird because you're just going to get blasted and can be kind of awkward to trade. Like, you're not going to shut this hero down where you might be able to out-trade and shut down a lot of melee mids or
TA2000
range mids.
Running down Jin Q, but
salved.
He popped a salve to keep himself alive, but that's still going to kill his laning presence, as that happened during the Lotus spawn too, so Dakalis gets a freebie.
Double null for XXS will keep his mana pretty strong on this lane as long as he doesn't get run down. Of course, this is a lane where you can just run him down and he is having a Burrow Strike out of there. This lane is probably going the worst for XG, but again, they had so much gold off that early exchange, it almost doesn't matter.
Now, this was another reason why they did not like the Venge mid, is they also do not like the Sand King offlane. Are you inclined to agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. I think the mid SK is just way better than the offlane SK. I think the solo levels are super important for the hero. The ability to stack a big camp and solo farm it is really big. Splitting that XP on this hero feels pretty bad. You can play him as kind of this like utility blink stunner, but you lose a lot of the scaling presence and the ramp is really slow.
Yeah.
So you're sacrificing a lot of the early game presence and rotation power of the hero for, this Venge pick, which,
Well,
yeah, you get to use the Arcana and stuff. That's pretty cool.
that's true. Well, it just means XM better pop off then. If he's going to be taking Venge mid and forcing a Sand King into the off lane, better do the best he can. XXS, Burrow Strike underneath the Sandstorm, trying to fight through. It's just a brawl. He just has to take the fight against the Elder Titan, survive as long as possible. He gets to get part of the experience, and Jin-Q turns some damage back around on TA2000. So all in all, quite good for Extreme. Even if it's core for support, I feel like just getting the experience on the Sand King, and he'll come back in a dominant lane position, is going to help turn this lane around.
Anything XG, WBG get out of this lane, they're going to be happy with. Again, I think this is probably the tougher lane for them. So if they go even up there, totally fine with it. Get some stacks up for the Sand King later, and you're cruising anyway. Can maybe even make a Venge rotation up there at some point. Really punish TA2000 on this lane. Have to think about the stacks that Quest can get up for this TA later as well. Maybe some early jungle scouting or invasion could be on the menu. We already see XM poking his head a little bit, looking towards those Coddle stacks as he swipes a bounty rune, but nothing there.
Those sort of rotations are going to be curious for him.
They're clunky to make. Not a mobile hero, kind of slow on the map, not high move speed. Your spells are good at ganking if you can get there at the right time, but really awkward if you're too late or the lane equilibrium isn't favorable for you. So if XM does decide to rotate, he's probably going to, well, he's just going to TP, okay.
That's one way to make a rotation. Just TP to the side lanes, don't have to run, and he shows up in time to get part of an Amar kill.
I was thinking he might TP top. It's the better lane to gank, but they'll take a little cheap kill, get another bounty rune refresh, and then split the 50-50 on the power rune here. The Quest are going to TP back in to guarantee secure it, and it will be top. Take the invis on the ET. Coddle does not use these runes at all, but it's nice to deny him out for the Venge. Still, that net worth chart is brutal for them as Ame just has a tremendous start here, man. He got so much off the start. Now he's just dominating the lane, and you're ganking for him.
Yeah, the worst lane is going to be maybe this mid lane after the gank, where XM will die, gets off the swap for a little bit of extra HP, still gets run down by the three-man PSG Quest.
Super nice gank for them. Earn charges for the Coddle. You shut down this Venge who just TP bottom, so now he has to walk out from base. Extra value there. And you have potential to contest Wisdom Rune here. 7-minute spawn coming up in 20 seconds. Would not be surprised to see Quest make the rotation for it. Though they're a little slow. I don't know if they're going to get there in time. Man.
Yeah, there's no way that Elder Titan can challenge
you would have
Jakiro in this situation.
Would have had to bring the Coddle. Maybe just don't want to commit that much. We'll get a very deep ward. Unfortunately, it gets scouted for them as this defensive obs. For XG, WBG will scout that placement. Will be a nice D ward for Jin-Q later on. Trying to protect those Ancients as well, because you want to be able to equal the stacking here from Quest if it starts to come out. And it's going to be a slow recovery for them. They try and stabilize this early game. See how fast Ame can start to ramp up here.
An interesting facet choice for Jin-Q. Just now noticed everyone's been going this Liquid Frost, but he actually chose to go the normal Liquid Fire. Obviously, very value against the Templar Assassin, and maybe that's just his entire thought process. Whatever is best against the TA to make my Sand King's life better, that's what we do.
Interesting choice. I mean, I think it's maybe slightly stronger on lane in the trades, and the attack speed slow can be significant. The spell does do a lot of damage. But the scale, I don't think can be as good. And
yeah, it's definitely much worse scale.
I mean, if you get tower damage, I guess there's some value. I don't know if that's part of the plan, but that was definitely part of the plan. Get some power runes for the Venge, and amp damage will go a long way here. Still looking for that level 6 on Malik down here. Would really like to get that up as soon as possible so you can Doom this troll, but he is behind the Phoenix in levels. This lane was just abysmal for the Doom. Jin-Q trying to steal some XP from his mid. A tale as old as time.
Any Rubik player, any 4 position in the game is going to want to try and make those steals. Amar does manage to get a D ward. That'll help push him a little bit closer to 6, speaking of Rubik. DY, he'll get a little bit of extra damage, but Omar
that's the clunkiness I'm talking about, right? Like you make these TPs or moves, and if the guy is just 100 outside your range, you can't catch up. You're too slow.
Yeah.
You're just stuck. Feels kind of bad. That's another TP gone here for XM as rotation doesn't pay off. They're going to try and re-smoke him here. Really want to use this amp damage rune. They're looking to scout the stacks. Early jungle invasion, I think, is really nice here.
See if they can get close enough to catch Noob with the Phoenix circling all the way around behind. The Ice Path is going to miss.
Got to body block him.
Got to body block him heavily here for the Venge to be able to catch up, and I just don't think they're going for it anymore. Venge has stopped the chase. DY, he'll be caught after the dive, so, ooh, swap. Maybe that bails him out, but okay, Macropire fighting underneath that one. Dekalis is going to die. XM is going to get low, though. Another blast coming through, a little bit more heal out of the Magic Wand stick. It's not going to be enough. He'll die eventually and can't get a secondary kill. Mar actually getting level 6 and sealing the Ice Path, turning that stun onto Q, gets Noob a double kill, and Noob will return the favor by healing up Amar to make sure he does not tick out to the damage over time.
Vessel done, charges online. Noob is suddenly snowballing, and this is not the hero you want to get stuck in these bad fights against if you're XG WBG here, because this Coddle is gonna outrange you unless you get the swap on him. And the second that defensive swap goes out, that's just a green light for him to take that fight over.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot deal with the blasts and the solar binds early with this kind of lineup. Maybe if you have dispels later on, like, you're gonna rush a troll axe here, that's one dispel. It's gonna be pretty nice in the fight versus the Coddle. You can also maybe get a Lotus Orb later, but until you have those online, that type of fight is super unfavorable for you, and that's going to swing a lot of this early game back towards Quest. This combination of the Coddle, Solar Bind, Blast, plus ET Spirit on top of it is also an insane amount of magic damage that you have to respect in this game until you have something like a pipe online.
And are they going to have a pipe? Because they have a Sand King offlane. So is he going to build aura items on a Sand King? It's kind of weird. But it might just be what he has to do, is that's what he's queued up. DY, he's going to make a dive away, but nowhere to really run to. Can't TP out either, so just dead again. I mean, it seems like PSG Quest can kind of run around and do anything with the Coddle, and Extreme just have to forfeit the situation.
Yeah, this Coddle pick was really nice. There's not a lot to combat it. He's going to have a strong early game here for sure. It's just a matter of, can you, at some point in this game, slay him in the middle of a fight or get that swap on him. That's what you're looking for. And you're going to try and farm up these ags. So double ags first for XG here as they try and get the Dispel for the Troll and the second life for the Venge.
What do you think of this meta where the Troll is going ags first? We talked about it in a previous game and kind of heard that it was, you know, Ame did it before with Trolls. So, you know, kind of following that mantra, Ame doing it again in this game.
Seems to be a build that he has used in scrims and some of these officials to pretty good effect, but I think it was more of like an anti-Darkseer build. That was my gut read on it. This game, again, you can dispel some Coddle stuff, but there's no like...
Get rid of Solar Bind and Earn.
Yeah, but you're not debilitating the hero that is debilitating you here, which is the Doom. Like, this doesn't help you with the Doom interaction. That's the concerning part for me. However, it does seem like this build-up, you can still farm pretty fast once you get it. You're just spamming axes. You know, he is incredibly farmed here as well. So if he gets a fast axe, which he will, and he can join some of those early fights and just get an insane amount of value out of the axe spam, it might just accelerate him in that sense.
Yeah. Maybe just the cooldown reduction on these axes is so much, it's just straight out better than Battle Fury.
And the backstab mid, they get
quick
to do on the bench.
With the trap out just to ensure that the stolen Macropire too. So big AoE damage between the God of Blast and the stolen Macropire. Omar and Noob making a deadly duo here, but it's all 5 from PSG Quest that just overwhelmed this mid-tier 1 tower.
And this, I think, is the weakness of the Venge. The second you get gone on by any of these sorts of spells between the Doom, the Solar Bind, a Stomp, I feel like you're just dead. There's nothing really to bail XM out in these exchanges other than XGWBG committing to that fight with everybody here. They're just not ready to do it. They are going Pike first on this Sand King, by the way, as XXS is just farming stacks as fast as he can to try and get that online. But at that point, you're going to have a Phase Boots Pipe Sand King. Really strong around the tower defense fights. But if you look at the map, you've already lost 2 of your tier 1s. So I don't know how much you're going to be able to aggressively force your timing with this item. Ame is super strong, so you want to. I guess your option is to Roshan or just go for the tier 1 top with some sort of smoke play.
Yeah. Feels like another situation where maybe you might be able to pull this off because you have a Venge mid, right? You have a mid that can start fights for you via the swap.
If you smoke him, yeah. I think if you smoke XM in, the chances you get that swap are a lot higher, and then that team fight can come together really fast. He's also closing in on his Ag. So you're going to have all three of your big core items here at a relatively similar time. And that will be a pretty good signal to try and take that big team fight. I mean, you have two supports who would love a team fight to break out on their terms around one of these tier 1s.
Some of the same jungle being taken up by some cores that all want to farm something, but don't want to be out on the lane. A bit of an awkward situation for Extreme, but hasn't resulted in a big net worth lead for PSG Quest. Just a small one right now. Throws out the Macropyre Ice Path on the TPs that are coming in.
Nice
but
stomp.
actually hit the stomp onto the Sand King. Again, stolen Macropyre, and he's burrow struck into it. Looks like he's going to be fine, though. He's got a pipe, so he shrugs off that magic damage. No further reach from Quest. They don't need to. They successfully defended their tower, got a pick off, and they can wait to see if Extreme want to keep pushing their luck.
This is that move for the tier 1 that I was talking about, but it wasn't really a move. It was kind of just a casual push.
It was.
Now you're lingering up here. Do you want to commit to the head-on push? Do you not? It seems hard unless you can get the swap. You're still waiting for this Venjags. You're a little bit off, so the timing's just a little bit off here for XG WBG as they look for an opening in this game. Can definitely just farm to Sand King Blink too. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like you're on some insane clock here.
I mean, ultimately, PSG Quest, are they the ones? I mean, you said you had the answer to Troll, but Troll is still the bigger carry in this matchup, right?
In a sense, but there isn't really anything to reset the Doom outside of you swap him out of the fight.
Yeah.
I feel like this Doom is going to scale pretty well in this game.
Well, they can see XM. They can't stop him. Nobody to be able to start that fight until Malik gets close enough with the Blink Dagger, and now they can go for it.
Wants to save the Doom, and he is correct to do so.
Big kill. That shuts down the Aghanim Scepter. And as you said, still holding on to the Doom, so they can immediately smoke up and look for more.
And he already has the Blink done, so the initiation power from Quest is there as
they get the tower. Can they get out?
Yeah, this was a tough push.
They're going to get sandwiched. Ducalis on one side with Malik. Going to try and chase down these heroes. Looks like the Phoenix gets off the Supernova to try and draw some attention away from the cores. Will do so successfully, perhaps, but the stomp, it still managed to land on the Sand King. Telekinesis into the Earth Splitter with a Burrow Strike stolen away. Just beautiful steals from Omar all game.
That is the crown jewel in this one. You do not want to give up Burrow Strike to a Rubik here. With the extra AoE on top, it is deadly. Force Staff already done means he can position well for these as well. And that was, you know, you're committing for a tier 1 there. If you can't TP out, it feels like someone's going to get caught because you just don't have the blink on the Sand King. You don't have much mobility.
Yep.
And he'll put a Doom on the Jakiro, but Jinq with the heads up deny.
DY, got to be careful there. He's been caught already by the TA Silence once, and now he'll die a second time trying to get a bit too aggressive. Stomp goes off. Oh, XM, he pushes forward, trying to catch something for Ame, but the ultimate is wearing out. They go for a swap to try and get him away. TA 2000 with the chase, but the spell shield is too strong. Omar getting blocked up a little bit here. The stomp is coming in to try and bail him out, but XXS comes in, Burrow Strike, Sandstorm, and a Stinger hit to finish him off. So they finally get a support kill they've been looking for. Look at TA 2000, though.
He's looking for a backstab on the support of the Venge.
And he might just be able to find it, but it'll cost the Elder Titan his life. 2 supports down on PSG Quest, and TA 2000 decides he will not stick around to find that opening.
Ame coming in big here, turning the tides in this top lane, and he is going to look for this early Roshan. This is what the Venge can help you do, accelerate this objective, get an Aegis on this Troll, and then that Ags build can really go to work because all of a sudden you can't commit the Doom on the Troll without him coming back for a second round. XG WBG able to find their footing in this top lane despite it starting off rough. I mean, you know, this is a Burrow Strike Rubik who's able to steal Venge Stun later, and you get the sleep on the Troll. This could have been pretty bad for them. But they have the teleports up, they have the reinforcements. And the second that pipe is there, it's pretty hard to turn this engagement without vision.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for Quest in this top lane. They just didn't have deep wards to kind of play around or give the Coddle vision to get the Solar Binds out initially.
Was that just
Lincolns?
Was that just them trying to just force it because they have Aghanim Scepter on the Venge, and they're just like, yeah, just take anything you can to get the Roshan fight going.
Yeah, I mean, you had your double Ags, you had your pipe. It was go time in terms of the 5v5. Can't shy away from fights this game with this mid Venge. You have to take him around XM's willingness to do so, or you're just going to let Caudle rule the map. Because I do think you're going to get out lane shoved a little bit this game between the Caudle and the TA. It's going to be hard for you to catch them, split pushing your waves. Unless you can really find these obs on the map, they should get away with it. So if you have a point in this game where you're willing to take the fight, you have to do so.
TA trap slowing down XM. He'll go for a TP way at Malik.
Ooh.
Almost there in time.
That was a little too close.
It really was.
Xin-Q slowly wearing through this mid tower. Some old school Jakiro action.
Macro Pyre's out another wave. It's funny, he keeps on giving away Macro Pyre. Honestly, probably the better spell to give away than Ice Path, which is so deadly in the hands of the Rubik.
Level 1, yeah, it's debatable, but I would agree. I don't think he's too worried about giving away the macro this game when you already have Pipe Sanking up. Quest gonna try and defend this tier 1, but the Caudle is found.
Dive past the tower. Ame got off Whirling Axes, but got doomed immediately. Is in trouble now. Has to run away. Supernova's going to be used to cover his retreat and force PSG Quest back. A Burrow Strike in from the side. XXS comes in to try and stall up this retreat, but it doesn't work. And now he's kind of on an island. Gets a Heaven's Halberd. Ame too worn out, so he comes back into play and kills the Rubik. Not afraid whatsoever of continuing the fight, especially with the Aegis that he has. So PSG Quest not getting the jump that they are looking for off of, maybe they were just so surprised by that dive onto Noob.
That was a nice backstab. The exact type of opening you're looking for. Start on the Caudle every time if you can. And XXS just coming in with a really nice angle there. Gotta remember, this is a no-blink Sand King. Just found the opening. This is Halberd as well. Yeah, very interesting pickup, but a very strong one against the TA here.
Yeah, pretty cool.
He's going to be very tanky in the fight, and the thing is, he's not really a hero that PSG Quest want to commit heavy spells on or focus down. Like, you're thinking about the Troll here, you're thinking about the Venge. You're not thinking about, I want to doom the Sand King or something. I don't think it's going to feel good in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Take the time to do the Tormentor here. Ame can always kind of do it for free, and they'll get the shard for Xin-Q.
I feel like this has been a decently productive Aegis period, even if that net worth difference hasn't increased too much.
Yeah.
For XG WBG here, as felt like they kind of restabilized that game that was going Quest's way, got their Troll a decent amount of farm. This Sand King is going to scale like a beast now, and maybe XM fell a little bit behind. That's the one concern. But if he's going to play more of a supporting role to this Troll anyway, you're okay with that. I guess it comes down to how much.
Isn't this just core Venge at its, like,
yeah,
you farm up to get Ags and then you just usually fall off a cliff because you're just so busy dying,
for sure,
and swapping. And
it can happen. He doesn't need to accelerate at a crazy rate here to have high impact in the fight.
Yeah.
I'm mostly surprised at how much farm Xin-Q has gone. He had a very rough early game, but he's climbing his way towards his Greaves, and he's found a decent amount of levels, which is really important on Forge Akiro, because I think everybody has been in that position on a Forge Akiro that does not find it, and your spells are not the most powerful in Dota 2, I'll put it that way.
No. The smoke up, trying to use the last few seconds of the Aegis. See if they can find a little action here, but Extreme are not going to run into anybody really unless they want to go. They got the swap, a long-range swap on TA2000 straight into the clutches of Ame.
That is the dream scenario.
Perfect situation.
And that's the power of the Venge this game. If you can smoke into the swap on a core, they're instantly gone because they're just under the Troll, and it feels like that team fight's over.
Yeah.
So now you get to use about a minute here to free farm the map, push the waves in, clear some traps, get some vision. Yules will be finished up for XXS. He's just going to be even more obnoxious to try and go on, and BKB for Ame will really make him almost invincible. Yeah, at that point you can doom him, but he's not dying under that Doom unless you can commit in the TA to the fight. And that's the big question. At what point in this game can TA2000 commit in that fight? He's going to buy a BKB of his own. I guess that is the window. But if he blinks in, if he blink BKBs into the fight and the Troll's just able to BKB match him, it's not a favorable fight for him.
Continuing to delay the blink dagger, XXS opts for a third item Yules now. So we're going to see that tag team of items, Phase Boots plus Yules on the Sand King again, just forgoing the need of a hard initiation.
I don't think he needs it. I mean, this game is going to come down to XG WBG pushing towers, forcing Roshan, using the Aegis to go high ground. In all of those sorts of exchanges, you don't need to start the fight with some blink and Burrow Strike. If anything, you're giving Quest a better opening to Solar Bind, Vessel, this Sand King, and maybe force them into an awkward situation. Really looking for the BKBs here on a lot of these big core heroes on both sides. They'll find a split pushing Jakiro.
These TA traps are always going to be a nuisance in that regard. Up and down the side lanes, they can set up a TP rotation just like that. But it is just a support kill. PSG Quest up by 3K. Are they happy with this lead? Are they happy with the way that the game is going?
It depends how much you believe in the Doom scale, I guess. As Doom is continuing to power up, you are going to hit a nice BKB timing here, but I think you have to strike during that window. As Ame will finish his right on point with TA2000.
And they get the initiation. Just what they need. BKB did go off, so I think he's fine, actually.
Yeah, he's chilling.
He is not going to die, and he's going to try and kind of keep pace with the rest of this team as they chase forward and see if anybody's going to be caught from PSG Quest. But yeah, the Doom just does not work. It's a hard counter to Battle Trance, but if you can't actually get him low enough, which has happened now multiple times.
There's not a lot of follow-up on this Doom, again, unless you can commit your other cores.
Yeah, where is the... I mean, I guess in this situation, he got off BKB, so it wouldn't really matter if you get some sort of Solar Bind or Stomp or something like that, but... That's just, I mean, it means it's going to be a repetitive problem. The fact that they cannot lead with a stun very easily to secure Doom before any of these bigger items go off. Good pick off on Dakalis. A stolen swap, though, presents some interesting options for PSG Quest.
An interesting spell to get here. Now that gives you a lot of follow-up on this Doom target. If you can Doom him and swap him into the TA, now suddenly TA2000 doesn't have to jump in deep the fight. Could potentially be an interesting route to try and initiate on Ame, but so far Ame has just been untouchable this game. 3-0 and 5. They've not been able to bring down this troll once, despite doing him a couple of times. Early Ags build has paid off, and he's cruising now, looking towards that next Roshan, and that's going to be a tough Roshan for Quest to deal with here. 2 lives on the troll is just impossible.
Yeah. Might be this Ags, as subtle of a difference as it is, it might be this Ags, like the extra stats that you get out of this compared to Battle Fury, might swing this matchup for the Doom, you know, a decent amount.
Yeah, it's a big difference, like 400 HP or whatever.
Yeah, like how many times you've seen somebody get Doom, they live with, you know, just 100, 200 HP.
No, I've liked this build the more I've watched this game because his farm rate just doesn't seem to have suffered too much.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't seem any slower than Battle Fury.
And the item's just way better than Battle Fury, so...
Yeah, so why not? Full-on smoke up from PSG Quest. But they will be running into an extreme already set up around the trees. They get an Ice Path, on to 2 with the Macro Pyre. There goes the Supernova. Nobody to really stop this thing. It's going to be successfully exploding as Extreme play around it. A nice formation. Defending the Roshan pit. Not getting too much, but just a single kill is likely enough to open up Roshan for them.
Just a well-defended ward and tree line there from XG WBG, as the second that Supernova goes off, you either have to commit in with BKBs or run. And we have still yet to see TA2000 commit to a fight. And do a little scouting with the Spirit to slow this down, but this is not a contest right now. They're waiting for the Doom BKB. Maybe that's a fight you can commit to if you have it there, but just a little too slow for Malik, and XG are going to take advantage of that window. Put an Aegis on this troll, and now you can kind of do whatever you want. just run Ame in the middle of the fight.
If the Doom wasn't a problem before, a second life means that they can very easily take any kind of fight they want against PSG Quest. Or at least that's what I would assume. But Malik, he's searching for a pickoff here with the Shivas. Doesn't quite catch XM. XM.
So fast.
He is quite fast. He also has Cheese and Aghanim Scepter. So he is not a free kill. And even if you do kill him, there will be a rebuttal.
Yeah,
there's going to be some sort of swap. And look at Ame just trucking it. Moving fast. And he will eventually catch up to somebody here. TA2000 goes for the blink, TP away, but the Burrow Strike caught him. XXS with a great read of where TA2000 was out of that one. Now he pops the BKB, continues to make a run for it, but forced the rest of his allies to try and jump in and save him. That's what happens here with Malik. He jumps into the back line, trying to dissuade Extreme from going for that TA2000 kill. They do manage to turn around, actually, as XXS pushed out alone.
Yeah. Big kill to give up, because I think XG could have just gone high ground off that Doom kill, especially since the Doom was thrown out there. Just wasted on the Phoenix. They had the BKB out from the TA as well, and Ame still holding on to his, almost level 20. XXS, a little overextension there. This will give Daedalus to TA2000. He's already on Quiver as well. Those were his first Deso charges, by the way.
Oof.
But he's doing some decent damage.
Yeah, the Daedalus is a huge upgrade, right? He could do a heavy amount of damage in a small window of time. If he does enough to the Troll, then maybe the Doom can actually finish him off for once.
I mean, his net worths don't look bad, but we've kind of yet to see a way into the fight for Quest. Once XG group up as 5, they are very strong in that formation.
It does kind of feel like Quest, we're winning in net worth, but we're slowly conceding more and more ground to Extreme. And now that net worth begins to even out. Now Extreme take another Aegis and start taking some objectives with it, though Ame is running up solo right now.
Completely alone.
Very alone, but are there any disables to stop him, though? If somebody showed up, he just could pop BKB and run away.
I mean, he would have been dead twice there if he got caught. That was kind of a ballsy push.
I mean, maybe, but what catches him?
I mean, you just
telekinesis into Stomp?
You don't know where the TA traps are.
Yeah.
There could have been 2 traps on that ramp. A Stomp could have landed. Nonetheless, he gets away with it. A lot of information for his team. A lot of reaction out of Quest, helping neutralize this net worth lead.
Radiant are scanning.
As the game slows down, and XG looking for another BKB on the Sand King and a Lincoln's on the Venge, so more defensive items coming out.
I was wondering where the Lincoln's was going to come from, because, like, surely it's Troll versus Doom. Somebody's going to get a Lincoln's to try and counter this Doom.
I mean, Lincoln's on the Venge is nice here, because you can aggressively try and use it to block spells on the Troll. And even if it backfires and you end up dying, I mean, so what? You got a second life in the Ags.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the Venge is more of a utility core in this situation.
Yep, this is going to allow for the high ground push with a minute left on this Aegis. The butterfly timing for Ame says I'm strong enough. At least poke it, get some reaction out.
And PSG Quest will be able to poke right back. They do have some long-range, heavy damage-dealing spells that could be spammed out between this Fate Bolt and Coddle Blast with the Elder Titan Spirit on top of them. So it doesn't take too much for PSG Quest to push back a half HP Ame. But what do you do now? Now Extreme's like, okay, you defended your high ground. We're now going to take another tier 2.
And like you just have to wait if you're Quest. You got to wait for the next big item on the Keeper of the Light.
Oh!
You know, he took his hand off the keyboard. He's taking a break.
A cheeky little smile there from DY as a little finger slip there. And of course, PSG Quest saw it thanks to the Elder Titan Spirit. It's been caught in the action, but Aegis is still up, so it's not. I doubt PSG Quest is going to try and punish this timing too much. Though maybe Extreme doesn't feel comfortable hitting that tier 2 without the Supernova.
I don't think Quest were going to fight it anyway. I genuinely think Quest are just split pushing this game until they have something on this Keeper of the Light. Because Noob just isn't a direct impact right now.
Yeah.
Like, he went Lincoln's Octarine on this Coddle. It's a lot of defense capability, a lot that helps you scale really well, but you need the next item and then item after that to really give you the punch. Either the Ags, the Hex, the Dagon E-Blade.
Really badly. I think they just do not have enough control.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hex would change this game a lot, and so maybe that's what Quest are waiting for. They are going to smoke here. Not really sure what... I mean, they're drawing a line to Tormentor, but this would be an incredibly aggressive move.
Big upgrade for XM. Look at Jin Q. They know this is coming. They know this push is coming for the Troll. Have they set up well enough to defend it, though? Troll gets a little bit low, but a swap, that'll help clear some of the damage. He's going to be fine. They're still going to be caught, though, on the side of Jin Q. Jakiro gets left behind. They push back forward, though. Now the Doom is expired. Nothing stopping them from taking the fight if PSG Quest were to stick around. They do not. They get their one kill and get out.
Still the same story. Doom the Troll and he lives.
Yeah.
Can't really stop the swap going off, and the second that happens, it feels like you're not going to be able to commit on that Troll. Need more damage burst or more follow-up as XG continue to rake in the gold and scale here. Strength Blink on that Sand King is a lot of extra damage, a lot of scalability.
Quest, PSG Quest are not doing a bad job of keeping up with Extreme at all. They haven't really thrown away any big fights or anything, and maybe if fights don't quite go the way they want them, they seem very, very conservative in how they take it. If it doesn't work, they don't kill the Troll, that's okay. They back out, don't experience too many losses. But we have yet to see them be able to come up with a solution. Actually win one of these fights and not just pass by with another Doom expended and another time the Troll lives. The Octarine is now done, so now you can throw out more of those Dooms.
I mean, if I'm XG WBG, I feel like I just want to spam Lincolns and Lotus Spheres this game.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty happy. Like, throw every Lincolns and Lotus you have on this Troll or Sand King, whoever's on the front line. Very tough to get through here for Quest. We see the Jakiro eyeing one from Jinku. You're going to have one finished on the Venge. You're going to have this Satanic on the Troll with potential level 25 talent for strong Dispel if he wants it.
I mean, we're looking at a situation where this might end up going late enough that 25 talents could be very integral. I mean, you're already talking about the Troll one, but what about the Doom one, right? If Doom can get all the way up to 25, he's got an Octarine plus that Midas. He's going to be cooking up some experience. You get to a point where you don't have to worry about BKB anymore because you're able to, the Doom applies mute. That could change things a lot.
There's a lot of interesting level 25 talents in this game. Both teams have some really good ones.
I mean, the way that Extreme's playing right now, they seem to be in no rush whatsoever.
Yep.
So you could talk about things like Aghanim Scepter for the Phoenix, right? That's a hard counter to Doom as well.
Might even get it off Roche at a certain point.
That's true.
You have a lot of Ags on your other heroes. I mean, you're probably giving Sand King his, but this next Roche is coming soon. XG, they got everything up. Could definitely look for an aggressive swap on a core if it presents itself.
Yeah, somebody perhaps lurking a little bit close to the borders of the base.
Really good ward. Oh, Noob.
Oh, Noob would have been really good. The next best thing to TA2000, a pick off on Noob, would have been excellent, but...
Tough to get through the Lincolns. Gotta remember that.
Yes.
Not a lot of long-range spells to throw and poke it. You can like A-toes pop it into swap or something, but...
Yeah,
we'll finish that Hex.
I was going to say, XXS could blink in and pop it with Heaven's Halberd, but I forgot he still does not have a blink. It is indefinitely delayed.
No, he does.
Sorry, he does.
He can definitely go in. It's just you have to see something here.
Throwing some illusions down the lane for a bit.
Radiant's bottom tower
It's kind of interesting. They're looking at the Spirit go to the right, and they did not see them.
They got the jump on the troll from behind. They slipped in, and the swap went out there, and he did not get the swap onto the troll like they intended. He's still getting away with the BKB and the Glimmer Cape, though, and Quest have to back away from the Supernova once again. Ducalis is in some trouble, gets off a clap, but looks like he's going to die of the Magic Missile, which bounces over into the Doom as well. PSG Quest, once again, they got the initiation. An even better one than any of the other times, and it's still not good enough.
Did they just not get the Hex off on the troll fast enough? Like, Ame just BKBs it. And the second that happens, he just runs it off. Even with the swap, I think miss going on the Doom there was definitely not what XM wanted. Now you have to take this fight without your Doom, without the BKB on the TA.
So many dispels, Ame. Between the Aghanim Scepter and now Satanic, which he uses to fully heal up.
He is chunking.
Backdoor protection, but the swap goes out. Rubik, telekinesis, tries to throw himself away, but he can't get far enough away from XXS, who pounces in with the Blink Dagger, finishes him off. Immediate buyback. But nothing is slowing down Extreme, it seems. They'll take that melee barracks, dodge the Spirit Stomp, and then retreat on their merry way to yet another Roshan.
Nice little fight for XG. They bail out their troll again. It's been the MO of the game, and their lineup has done a decent job at that. You dive in, you throw spirits on everybody. There's a macro, there's an ice path. Do you want to chase through all of that? Not really. The second that Doom is out on Ame, that team fight feels over. Still no solution to that sort of engagement from Quest. They're finding the troll, but that has not been the problem. The problem has been finishing him off.
Yeah.
This is not a Roche you can afford to give up here, which means you got to fight into the Phoenix, into the Jakiro, into the Sand King. All these heroes love when you're going into their AoE.
I mean, just a single Supernova may be enough to secure this team fight. Quest, it's going to need one hell of an initiation to be able to stop this one, and it comes from Malik, tries to jump into the pit. Too early. Roshan not nearly close enough to dying. They throw out the Doom. He immediately retreats, and it's perfectly fine. While the jump in from the Sand King, big epicenter, big AoE damage, and they can easily follow this up. Extreme, they're lined up to just wipe through Quest at this rate as the Burrow Strike catches out the Templar Assassin in the corner. Ducalis does manage to get the stomp off. The TA-2000 TA is still stuck, though, on the sidelines. They don't see him.
Oh, he got the TP.
Oh, he got the TP away, so he's good.
But, I mean, but what are you doing here, right? This just doesn't feel like a fair 5-on-5. Just feels like strategically, actually WBG have answered what Quest proposed in this game with this Doom Troll interaction, and there's no way around it. We haven't seen any sort of alternative to the team fight. It's been go in, Doom the Troll, he gets swapped, and then Ame's like, I'm not even in danger, I'm just going to finish up Roche. Like, good luck dealing enough damage to me to bring me down.
Yeah. And you just don't have enough Dooms anymore. One Doom was never enough, but now you've got Aegis, Satanic, Refresher Shard. So this Troll has multiple lives on top of the multiple saves that Extreme have, but they're not needed.
Noob just couldn't get enough momentum going this game. XM able to reach his items in a timely manner and make all those swaps except one count, but that one didn't even cost him here. Really showed the conceptual power of this pick in this game. Caused Malik a lot of problems every fight. Backdoor means nothing to Ame.
Yeah, he just bullies his way through the buildings. Venge trying to jump in. They throw the Doom on the Venge. That's how you know things have gotten real bad. They've given up on killing the Troll. They'll get the kill on the Venge, but of course, Aghanim Scepter means she just comes right back. And ready to continue this assault on the tier 4s. 3 minutes left on the Aegis. They can stomp and blast and blinding light and magic missile and fade bolt as many times as they want, but Ame, he'll not be denied this push on the tier 4s. Little poke there from XXS, a Wind Waker.
Refresh Doom. It's gonna backstab him.
He is gonna refresh it. He's gonna go for the Phoenix. They've given up on their Troll entirely and are just trying to limit his allies, and it might actually work. They've killed the Phoenix and the Jakiro. Ame is a bit low. Does he want to expend his Aegis this way? They're going to buy
Triple
back and
buyback.
just end the game. Extreme wasting no time whatsoever. The Venge is actually going to get a bit of a dieback here. Again, the Aghanim Scepter, so we can keep on going for these swaps, keeping the heroes in place. But it looks like the second life's going to go down. A jump in, though. A beautiful epicenter. Burrow Strike once again from XXS to close out 3 and get the GG call out of PSG Quest. In the innovating here, we're going to have a core Elder Titan, and I'm here with an Elder Titan expert. Man, always played support, but he carried it his own way when playing ET. What do you think about 3-position Elder Titan?
Yeah, I carried my team straight to some quick losses. That is about the only thing I carried, but it's fun. I'll say that. 3-position ET is fun. It's exciting. I like to watch it. Will it work here?
30 seconds to battle.
My gut read is probably not.
Well,
but hey, let's find out. That is the cool part, as this Morphling matchup, I mean, it is really one-sided. Like, if you can ever get on top of him, start hitting him, you have some debuff immunity potentially somewhere in that mid-game with either BKB or Ags, then it is a real problem for the agility Morphling here.
yeah, can we just explain for... I feel like we're just automatically accepting everybody knows why Elder Titan counters Morphling.
The
You
battle
remove all his
begins.
armor.
There you go. Morphling is all base armor, and Elder Titan can remove every bit of it.
I mean, you can go AC on Morphling. It's pretty ham.
Okay. I would love to see that.
The thing is, I don't think XG, WBG are all in on the Morphling carrying the game. Like, you have Shadow Fiend here, you have Brewmaster, you have a Bloodlust that you can put on all of these big right clickers, you have a Shaker that can pick up the team fight. Even if Ame goes in and maybe kills one hero and has some other impact, like, I think that's good enough for them to win a team fight down the road. So yeah, maybe your Elder Titan really shuts him down, but I think that ET also has to do more on top of that to really make this pick work here.
Okay. Well, I mean, isn't it similar situation with SF? That's not a hero that's going to build a whole lot of bonus armor either, right? So if he can get on top of either one of those heroes, he's going to be quite the nuisance.
Potentially. He also has a bunch of spell damage to play with. Like, if you throw the Spirit out early in the fight, and you get a charge through, you get a crash landing Avatos, throw out some Macro Pyre. I can see the ET synergy being pretty nice with that as well. It's just a lot of question marks, and the item buildup on offlane Elder Titan is always the big question. Like, how much do you invest in early items versus trying to get an Ags or a BKB and have that guaranteed teamfight impact with the right clicks? It really depends on how good your early laning phase is. Hopefully, Quest can figure that part out, as this safe lane should be fine for them. You're looking at Jakiro Weaver versus a double melee lane for XG here. Kind of a tough lane to get out of, honestly. I could see XXS or Xingqiu maybe going down once or twice in this lane. If you can get like a good bug on them with some dual breath going through.
I feel like it's one where they're either going to guaranteed get a kill or two, or Extreme Gamer are going to be playing so passively that they just don't get very much fun. I feel like either way, you're losing the lane.
You can pull it back with the fissure blocks, which is what we've seen.
Yeah.
You can also go and pull ways of your own. You're going to get small camp blocks here off Xingqiu guaranteed. So XXS should get XP on this lane. How much CS he'll get? Probably not as much as he would want, but again, you're a Brewmaster, so you can live without it. Early
Charging
rotation.
from the side, an early rotation from Omar, and they need the Fissure to save XM. Tree Toss is not enough, but Omar might be able to get the final swing, and he does. It's enough damage. They get first blood.
The extra slow. Piling up there, and that is a really nice rotation. Exactly what you want versus SF. Shut him down early and shut him down hard. Put him in a position where you have to go into these mid-game fights from behind, and we've seen Spirit Breaker just manhandle Shadow Fiend over the course of this tournament. So he's becoming a signature hero for XM. But outside of the Bloodlust, he doesn't have a lot to kind of protect him. This can be a greedy lineup from XG. All of their cores won a lot here.
And that's going to be concerning if it's not Spirit Breaker, then it's the Tiny. And if it's not Tiny, it's the core Elder Titan. And if it's not the core Elder Titan, it's Weaver. They have 4 different heroes that can all get on top of SF with no saves available.
The chain stomp potential is very high in this lineup. Stomp, Avalanche, Charge Through, Ice Path. The second you get hit by something, you're just getting beat up. You're gonna see a big right click from Malik, but Ame will survive, and spending a little more on regen than maybe he wants, but he is getting through this laning phase, at least the early levels, pretty well. So far, Quest should be happy about how this is going, though, as they got that early gank on the SF, and both side lanes are mostly free farming here. Looking for that bug kill.
Bug on both of them.
Yep.
So they'll get the kill on XXS, and Xingqiu is going to be forced to walk away.
I feel like that was inevitable.
Yeah.
Just way too many easy ways to burn resources on the lane with the double range versus double melee and set something like that up. So TA2000 is going to be mega farm this game. He's absolutely free farming, kills on top of it. He's a weaver. He can make early rotations. He can fight early. He can have a lot more impact.
At the 4 minute, they're just giving no water runes to this SF. XM
Committed.
no love whatsoever, only punishment. Jin-Q comes in looking for a Fisher, but he can't block them all off. He hits a beautiful enchant totem that hits on 3, and he'll be able to run down to Collis, but it does not undo what has been done. XM dies again.
That's the most you can do there if you're Jin-Q. No way to save your SF on the dive. Too much early magic damage. Will be double water room into Noob's bottle as well, so full resource refill on this Tiny. Taking a level advantage here, taking a net worth advantage. A lot of pressure going into this mid lane. And Ogre is not the best 5 at helping respond to that either.
No.
Kind of has to babysit the morph early and then kind of a static laner. If you get kills on lane and you get a fast boots, you can make those rotations, you can fight around mid, but without it, you're too slow, and okay, there's a little
Mark kind of gives up a freebie there.
Yeah.
Though the 2v1 we saw when the gank was happening through the Spirit Breaker, the 2v1 oftentimes seems totally fine for Malik. As long as he has that extra spirit damage, which gives him extra movement speed, which gives him extra attack speed. That's one thing in this facet. We've seen the momentum really go to work. DY thought he could challenge that? Wrong.
Aggressive waveform from Ame kind of baits his 5 in. Malik gets the job done with the double spirit. Gotta respect that momentum on the lane. Finding a little something on his own in the 1-on-2.
And if that momentum facet is good for the support Elder Titan, it's only going to get better for core Elder Titan, right? Because normally you think about it with the Spirit coming back and giving you the movement speed, but what if you actually have items that are also giving you movement speed? Then you're just kind of getting some insane value on Elder Titan, which made me wonder, the panel talked about, you know, the Ags Mask of Madness build. I do wonder how effective Mask of Madness is for this hero. XM just gets dumpstered, man. This poor guy is just getting run down by 3 heroes 3 times in 6 minutes. This is just not fair whatsoever, and Malik is winning the 1v2. Is he going to kill both of them? Ame? He's going to have to morph into strength. Okay, Spirit's out, so there goes all of Malik's damage, but they are completely underestimating this core Elder Titan.
They are getting run over in this early game. No way around it. Their early rotations have really abused the Shadow Fiend, and Malik just straight up winning the 1-on-2 Giga Chad style. This tier 1 is gone with the catapult timing. Some really nice gank connections here. A lot of extra XP into the supports. Noob's going to look for the quick gank top on the Brew, who is not level 6 yet.
Oh, tosses over the Weaver. The crash landing does some decent damage. They hit the Avalanche, and XXS is dead as well. All 3 lanes heavily won at this point.
This lineup, is it too slow for XG to recover right now? Because they're going to have to do some recovery. Do split the Wisdom runes. So Jin-Q, he's level 5, does have some solid levels.
Jin-Q keeps on hitting some Fishers that are decent, but it's an Earthshaker, pre-level 6. You just don't do anything. You certainly don't do enough to deal with multiple heroes.
Especially the early firepower. Like level 3 dual breath, this crash landing, Sakuchi through, it's a lot of very strong early game spells. You get caught out, your Fisher's not going to match it. Going to get some harassment on Ame, you should be fine. But more resources being burned out, more pressure applied in the laning phase, and another tier 1 that's just being sieged here. What can you do about it?
Not too bad, but XXS can continue to be aggressive. It looks like Tukalis will take out, actually. Gives some experience over to XXS, but he's still level 5. No ultimate, and it looks like the Weaver. Shukuchi doesn't want to go for it, doesn't have his ultimate. Is he gonna die? Fisher to finish him off? Wait a minute. Extreme somehow bait quest into going too deep. Noob is gonna try and get the toss over crash landing kill on XXS. That's not good enough, and he'll die to XM. XM getting some much needed revenge for what happened in the mid lane.
I mean, that could have been a game deciding fight right there. If that all goes Quest's way, they just take this entire game over. But XG have something to say about it, bring some of the numbers, get a lot of value out of the chain stun there. A very clutch sentry on the Weaver. guarantee some of the extra damage to come through, and he didn't have time lapse because he used it earlier on the first Brewmaster dive. So now you have the Brewmaster 6, you have Shaker 6, you have your Ogre pushing towards 6. Oh, he doesn't need it, and a lot of recovery farm for XM. Getting in there and getting some extra gold off the fight pushes him back towards the top after a very rough start.
Yeah, one thing to know was that XM did decent despite the multiple deaths. He was winning in like kind of CS versus the Tiny and stuff, so he got a fair amount out of lanes, out of creeps, even if he was dying all the time. So getting the recovery kills means that he's just kind of right back up there near the top. Not quite ahead of the Weaver, but back even with Noob.
Noob's still having a crazy game here. See how much Quest can continue to abuse the chain stun potential around the map with the charges coming through. This tier 1 mid being down is really sad for XM right now. Just doesn't have much protection to step up. We can see how scared he is here.
Yep, they're trying to get the crash landing. They get the vision to pop the ultimate. This is a deep dive though. Underneath the tier 2, it's not going to be clean. They don't finish off XM, and XM in turn finishes off Omar.
Is under attack.
XG ready for that dive. Can only gank their SF so many times before they're going to bring the numbers.
XM, PSG Quest are just trying too hard, it seems like now, to keep the momentum coming that was that they took on early.
That's why discipline around these dives is really important. You don't maintain it, you throw away a lot of your lead. If you're content with getting reactions out of XG and backing up and then re-engaging somewhere else, you can abuse them with your advantage. But right now you're just committing on these plays, and XG are happy to meet you there and turn them around.
Now they're still up by 2K net worth, so it is a very large lead, but it could have been larger for sure.
Oh, this could be 5 or 6K easily.
Yeah.
They had played those dive sequences a bit better. This is also a decent amount of time for Ame to just farm in bottom. The one-on-one for XG went better than the two-on-one.
It did.
So he's got that going for him. Defusal done for TA2000 though. Most farmed here on the map. Gonna look for the gate rotation. He's gonna be really strong as Weaver in this fight.
But they're gonna be fighting into a Brewmaster ultimate.
Oh, he blocked him.
Yeah, creep blocked a bit. XXS struggling to catch up, and will finally get on top of Jakiro. So does Ame. Now, Noob coming in. Actually, the big burst crash landing, not quite up. The charge is coming in, though. Ame pushes them back with an adaptive strike, but it's not good enough. It's the Weaver to deliver the final blow. The Brewmaster ultimate does get off, though. They've lost their carry, but the Brewmaster ultimate is strong enough. Maybe they could still find some kills, but what about the Weaver? The Weaver's still cleaning up the back lines. He got the kill onto the Morphling, now picks up the Ogre. Jin-Q, he's also stuck in the trees, beaten to death by Malik.
Oh, we got the charge with the vision.
And he got the charge for XXS after the Primal split is down. Looks like he'll get back to the tier 2 area.
But he gets a TP. TP out of the Shadow Fiend. Again, you're getting more reactions, a lot more gold off this fight. And that TA2000 rotation is perfect right there. He gets defusal instantly through the gate, and he is just chunking people with some extra ETR on top. You do have this Brewmaster split, which can go in and dispel the spirit buff and stuff like that, but it's just kind of awkward as to when are you supposed to pop it here if you're XXS, because Ame's just already gone at this point. Getting his mana burned, the swarm is on him. You pop it here, but now your Morphling's gone. Can't really get off a great Echo Slam. It gets kited out. And TA2000's able to re-engage on the backside, take down another support.
You push forward, your supports try and follow. It's just so easy for TA2000, who somehow found 4 bounty runes. Nobody picked up the starting bounty runes, or what?
4 bounty runes in the dire jungle. Nobody claimed them. Suddenly see this gold lead expand to 5K. He's working towards a Gleipnir. His Weaver is jacked, man. This feels like where Ame was last game. He has the fighting items to compound it. Those fights had to go XG's way for this Brewmaster to get the recovery he needed, and he did not. And now this Brew is sitting on support level farm. It is going to be a long road for XXS in this game. Going to go the Vessel first to try and contribute more in these early team fights, but I worry about his levels. Where do you find this level 12 on the Brew that you need sooner rather than later in this game? As 14 minutes, you're looking for the next Wisdom Rune spawn. This tier 1 is dead. Quest can make an aggressive play on Ame if they can catch him.
Ame waveforms through the creep wave and back.
I mean, there's a tiny blink here. You cannot
Is under attack.
be too greedy.
Oh, they're gonna spot him. They've got a ward on him.
There's no way they don't see him here.
They see the opportunity to jump into the tier 2. It's not quite enough. It was really close. But they fall shy of the damage by probably less than 100 there.
I mean, you got to linger here for this Wisdom Rune fight. Is this a rune XG WBG can afford to give up?
XM marches forward. Nice Fisher. Hits on 3. Lamar trying to charge out of there. Immediately stopped by the Fire Blast. And PSG Quest, they do not try and take the engagement.
Just sacrifice Omar, and again, you got to have discipline on these dives because XG are reacting to them. So you can be content with the TPs there, push in the rest of the map, and then look for a play. Still gaining a decent advantage, and this Ags is going to come out fast for Malik here. He is... this is about as good as an ET game gets.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's going to be untouchable in team fights. The best you could do is like Fisher block him off or something.
Yeah, you can, or you can like tornado toss purge him if he doesn't have the debuff immunity on him.
Yeah, that's true. You could, like when the spirit comes back, does it dispel off the tornado?
I don't know.
think it does,
I think
right?
if you toss him, I actually don't.
I don't think it
guess
dispels at all. I think it just gives you that magic immunity or whatever, but it won't dispel off the tornado in the first place. I think.
That's a weird interaction.
Yeah.
Might look for it. I think it's still worth tossing him if you ever get it, no matter what.
For sure. Either way, Malik's going to be
8 minutes faster.
menace. 8 minutes faster. Was there another Core Elder Titan in this tournament? Or in this patch? Must have been this patch.
Could have just been a really fast support Ags. I mean, that would be really fast, but...
Yeah. 8-13, 5,000 net worth lead for PSG Quest as they took this laning phase by storm and may have slipped up a little bit, but it seems like just their draft advantage has allowed them to be able to push through those mistakes and continue their domination as they find another one. The toss over onto the Brewmaster is easy, and they can go for the dive on DY if they want. Oh, it seems perhaps a bit unnecessary. Charging to Xin-Q. Xin-Q's just like, please. I mean, he got what he wanted. I think Xin-Q is accepting of death here because he got his blink deck.
Yeah,
he was out on the map knowing he was going to get charged, but as long as he buys out his blink, it's worth it.
That's 100% worth. Got to get what you can on this Shaker and try and make the big comeback play. Did find a decent amount of farm on this Shadow Fiend. XM
Is under attack.
stabilizing his game, working towards that BKB would be a huge item for XG WBG to rally around here. Still a little ways off. Got to remember, you're going to get more Bloodlust points as this game goes on as well. It's going to buff up all this core net worth. But man, is XXS hurting in this game. I don't think I've seen him this poor in a long time. This brew has been absolutely shut down. He's going to be a walk-in vessel for a long time unless you can start winning some team fights.
Yeah, this is not going to be like last game where Radiant's a Brewmaster that it gets to be a carry in these team fights.
And there's a lot of stun for him too. That's the problem. Like, him getting his ult off is not guaranteed. He can get bursted very easily off ET going in with some chain stun action from the Tiny Breaker.
And even his Brewling's just being controlled. Bump back into the Ice Path. Macro Pyre burning out the SF, and no saves from Extreme.
Yeah, he's gone.
So he is just dead, guaranteed. They're going to go for more. DY's going to get run down by TA2000 as well. Dominating streak for both Malik and TA2000. The two side lane cores in a similar position in net worth and similar spot in kills. Oh, that's a big whiff there from Xin-Q as a reveal on the Blink Dagger. Fails to find purchase with TA2000.
Yeah, he saw him back up on that Radiant Obs and then he scanned the camp. So he took the gamble knowing this Weaver was low. I think he actually gets the Weaver there if he connects.
Especially if there's still neutrals in the area to get that extra echo damage off, but Was the wave already? The camp was just dead already.
Yeah, kind of unlucky, to be honest. I respect this play from Jinkyu. I think that's worth the risk. You got a decent amount of information to go off of, right?
Yeah.
Just not everything's going to pan your way. Will cost him this cooldown here. Gonna be waiting a while for it, 90 seconds. Would have been a huge kill to find, though.
Oh, certainly. Instead, PSG Quest, one more cooldown they don't have to worry about, and even farther up in network.
I'm just gonna start building up the utility on the supports. Interested to see what Malik wants to go for here. Did end up going for that Mask of Madness. And he's eyeing up a shard. So I don't know if you'd want to buy it. It is quite good on the core Elder Titan because then you just instantly appear, you get your Spirit buff. You might even just burst the Morphling.
Yeah.
Off of any sort of stun follow-up. So I like that idea.
Isn't this just a crazy amount of attack speed?
Yeah, it's
you get the
ridiculous.
Spirit, and you activate Mask of Madness.
I don't think you can even morph up in time. You might just get burst. This is a very scary hero for Ame to try and play around right now.
Look at him go. Bam, 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 bam.
It is quite fun to watch. I wouldn't even mind. I mean, I hate to say it, but like BKB as well in this game could be interesting. If you really want to get aggressive, of course, you can just go like a mini crit or just the full Daedalus.
Yeah.
AC, even more minus armor.
I think very early on he had Manta queued up on the hero, which I thought was kind of interesting because Yasha obviously is another big boost in movement speed. All right, well, what do you do as Ame looking at this game, man?
Gotta buy a BKB at some point.
Yeah, he's going, he was thinking about Lincolns, now he's going, okay, I need a Butterfly, man.
Butterfly is also quite strong here. Another way to kind of bypass the armor reduction from the ET. If he can't hit you, it doesn't matter.
Sure. I mean, he has to contend with both a Weaver and an Elder Titan.
He just waved in.
But he just jumps in at half HP to kill a creep wave and gets one shot.
Goodbye.
Quest will go for more, of course, because the carry's dead. Now the big team fighter's also going to die. XXS dying a shallow grave right next to Ame.
And here's your building taker.
Look at Malik go.
The stapler. That burst damage, the second you get caught, there's no surviving it. There's no save here. You don't have that venge from last game. It's just a fissure interrupt.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Mar waiting for an ally to get close enough for him to go make this go.
Yeah, DY just trying to get any sort of lane out he can. And
Mar now makes his jump, which he could possibly solo, but he waited long enough to make sure that there was an ally. TA2000 comes in and cleans up the kill for him.
Unstoppable streak for this Weaver. Been absolutely out of control since the laning phase. Do have that BKB on the Shadow Fiend. That's probably your biggest timing. Try and get a fight around it, rally this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Can be strong. The ET is not stapling you to death. This phylactery on the Tiny as well. You get into the Conda, even more single target burst damage for Ame to try and deal with, where that Butterfly is just not going to help him. It's like too much to contend with here as the Morphling. You're worried about the physical man fight going through your armor. You're worried about the magical burst damage. Can't play too low. You have to play low enough that you can deal damage of your own.
Maybe you should have gone Strength Morphling. Maybe that would have been the answer to all of this.
Not all of it, but... Did get the shard off the Tormentor for the Shaker here, and you are level 10, so you have your upgraded Fissure with the Chain Stun capability if you're Jinkyu, and you'll get your level 12 on the Brewmaster here off this Wave Dying. So a decent time to try and take a fight spell-wise.
Smoking is gonna break as XXS pushes forward, runs into the Weaver.
You just don't want to jump this Aegis with your Earthshaker. Trying to find somebody else you'd love to find.
On one of them.
The ET.
And he's gonna probably bump into more. He I mean, I feel like it was pretty obvious from XXS just casually farming the creep wave in front of the Weaver.
Yeah, they know they're here.
Smoke behind him, but they definitely know after that Spirit lands.
Got the D ward as well. That was a fresh obs. Really need this pipe on XXS to mitigate the magical burst.
And Quests don't even have to do anything. Just their lack of a presence forces Extreme to go to a different side of the map. You say, okay, PSG Quest is not going to be doing any crazy dives into this tier 2. They're not going to give us this free fight. So we will just try and farm some more.
Radiant's
The other tier 2 for TA 2000 off the back of this Aegis expiring.
Radiant's bottom tower has
Probably go
fallen.
for a BKB of his own, just so he can commit in against all the stuns.
I don't think that's really an initiation there, noob.
Radiant's bottom tower
Well.
is under attack.
Sometimes you just got to give them a freebie, you know?
Yeah, that was a gift wrapped in a nice little bow and wrapping paper for XG WBG there. Little morale boost.
Little delivery straight to the front door. Extreme.
That's what happens when you take your core's farm. These greedy fours need to learn a lesson sometimes. And Noob
It's even more fitting.
takes off the belt.
It's even more fitting that he sent in a cow. He straight up delivered them a hamburger.
Maybe it's like a ritual sacrifice, you know? We sacrifice our 4 position to win this game.
Well, I don't think PSG Quest needs much help from the gods here.
Stop. This guy's about to disable help, dude. Stop tossing me, man. Does that even work? I don't think it works.
Ame is getting chased away. Can't even farm his own ancients.
Opted for Lincoln's over that
Radiant's
BKB.
middle tower is under attack.
Not going to help him as much versus the Elder Titan. Will help him more versus the Breaker. Potentially turn into the Breaker and be really annoying in the fight. But that man fight still looks difficult, so relying on the team to maybe deal with this
Radiant's
ET
middle tower has
as they
fallen.
bleed another tier 2 tower. All the outer towers gone. And looking towards next, Roshan, PSG Quest. Would love to finish up these BKBs, getting Aegis on the Weaver, and maybe try and end the game with that.
Well, PSG Quest, this has got to feel like a great game 2 to play after losing game 1. Full control of the game from the get-go. Malik winning his 1v2, diving XM freely. And anytime Extreme try and step outside of their base, they're getting threatened, if not outright killed. A dominant performance so far for PSG Quest, but can they close it out? We've seen plenty of
so
games
easy.
thrown away on the high ground.
You still have this big Shadow Fiend who can get in there, Requiem someone down, take another with him. Blink, BKB, and Yule's all up for XM. Gotta look for this guy in the fight. Especially if you can land an Echo Slam chain stun on 1 or 2 heroes and then Blink and Requiem on top of that. Easy numbers advantage.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Does Extreme contest this, Roshan?
It is possible, yeah. I think you need the jump. Oh, they're just gonna run into the Weaver.
TA 2000
Oh,
just keeps on
that is
running into
close.
smokes and has not been punished once for it.
I mean, Jin Q would have echoed him there if he could have gone in range.
Yeah,
That's the
well, if
number
he
one
doesn't,
target.
it's a BKB Weaver, so you better just pull the trigger and pray it works. That's a farm Jakiro, man. Mech, pipe, building up a Greaves next.
Another smoke that just doesn't land. PSG Quest will play it safe here. which will give some farm to XG. They'll also likely get their own Wisdom Rune Tormentor off this. So not losing out on the objectives, which could have been a reality for them. Nonetheless, Quest will finish up their BKB here on the Tiny. Already have the one on the Weaver.
Haven't got the stone.
Radiant are scanning.
So triple debuff immunity across the board for their cores. You're gonna have to fight through that period if you're XG WBG, or just get the jump. That is always the better option for them.
It's so hard to catch Spirit Breaker with this facet, man. It's so absurd.
Yeah, it is a ghost.
Like, you have this limited, small little window where he hits the creep wave and runs out. And the fact that he is invisible in that window as well, I think it's Shadow Blade, it's just like damn near impossible.
It's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information, but they have the information back and the charge to be able to stop the Requiem. XM still gets a chance to get it off, but it's not the big burst that he was hoping for, especially with the pipe. Quest shrug off that damage. Now they go hunting. Where did the Shadow Fiend go? Where did DY go? They'll find the Ogre, but lose track of the Shadow Fiend.
Not the initiation XM was trying to give his team there. It's just so difficult.
Jinkyu is gonna he's just gonna go for it. He's gonna try and steal an Aegis. Unfortunately for him, it's going to the other side of the map. So there goes that.
Very few openings in this game. HP continues to build here for Quest. Heroes are just getting tankier and tankier, man.
Yeah, that Requiem was pretty depressing.
Sometimes the problem with this hero, if you don't gain that momentum, it's... You know, SF is not one of these heroes that often fights well from even net worth. He wants to be ahead.
Yeah.
Unless you have really good burst targets, but... Again, we see these heroes tanking up. This Scotty is almost done for TA2000. You have the pipe on the Jakiro. All of these heroes are 3,000-4,000 effective HP for this spell damage. This Requiem is just not getting the job done anymore. This Echo Slam might not be getting the job done anymore. You're going to need a bigger and bigger one as this game goes on. He's going to look for it here. It's going to be a huge play from Jinkyu.
He's sneaking in with the Shadow Blade.
Oh, boy.
Can he blindly... Wait, did they see him off the sentry? Oh, they know he's here. They know he's here. He jumps into the pit.
Too early.
Of course, the timing is too early. He couldn't possibly know any other way. He knows that they saw him. He had to make the jump. And just good read. Like PSG Quest, they lay out the sentry. They just cover their bases, make sure there's absolutely no chance of something crazy happening.
I mean, that's why you should always have detection on the pit.
Yep.
And Jinkyu unable to find his moment there. Valiant attempt, but that'll give an Aegis to the Weaver on top of that Scotty being completed. Big push timing available for Quest now. They have the banner to back it up.
I don't even feel like Extreme have... Good call by DY. Thank you, everybody. That is a 36-10 for potential Roshan. For Aegis expiry. Their high ground defense is really not that good on Extreme. They don't have any sort of big relocating. Yeah. They don't have the best spam.
You gotta like fissure block somebody in the base.
Yeah.
And kind of do it that way. I think that's your best bet. The danger is if you get tossed back, I guess.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
If Noob is willing to commit to jump in the base and maybe toss someone out of it, you could break that. If your Quest.
Then the Fissure block maybe plays against you.
Yeah, that's kind of the pro and con of it.
Banner
you will get
is
it
out.
here.
There's the toss back.
Fissure does not catch.
Brewmaster, just too many stuns, man. And they can't even handle the banner. XM, he was like, okay, maybe I can kill the banner. Got it to half HP before he had to retreat. Just Quest took the kill way too quickly on the Brewmaster. An early time lapse from TA2000. Just to try and conserve as much HP as possible. DY, yeah, that's going to be a Conda tree toss to finish him off.
That's that ET shard. Went MKB, by the way. So not the Daedalus, but the next best thing. Absolutely tearing them to shreds. Every stomp is a potential all-in.
And the Morphling no longer has an answer to the Elder Titan then.
Well, that butterfly diminished here for Ame. Might not even get a team fight out of it. He's continuing to try and farm up. Did finish that. Lincoln's is pushing towards a Daedalus. Ame just feels like he needs more damage in this game. Does have his level 20 talent. I mean, this Morphling can do some damage. But again, he doesn't have the BKB, so whenever he goes into that fight, if the ET gets on top of him, I think he's just gone.
I think so too. There are a lot of different ways to get on top of him, like this stomp, Earth Splitter, and broken. Oh, and look at Noob, already demolishing XM before we even get eyes on him. He's gonna come back down, his BKB worn thin. He'll die there, a buyback from Ame, but the Primal Split is not setting Ame up to come in with a second life and do anything about it. XXS forced to go back into his full form.
PSG Quest looking to close out this game too. They get a buyback out of the Morphling, and that is a welcome sight if you are a Quest fan right here, because that is Ame's economy gone. And you got to remember, he went this Lincoln's build up to allow him to split push on the map without getting charged to try and get over that tipping point and sub point in this game. So that buyback just kills all that momentum.
Now you're just praying that Quest will slip up on the high ground push here.
Yep, look for the tossbacks with Noob if you really want to play aggressive, or just let the Weaver siege with the Aegis. Or look for more objectives and farm. 35-minute Wisdom Rune.
Yeah, Wisdom Rune. Surprised they didn't keep it going. They had a minute left on the Aegis with the SF dead.
I think there was some room to operate with there. Like, you can just put the ET Spirit in and look for a tossback. It's pretty reliable. And if you kill this Morphling, this game is just over.
Dire are scanning.
They're just savoring their victory here. With the MKB coming in for the Weaver. That'll be the last step from PSG Quest to completely counter this butterfly pickup of the Morphling.
Trying to use the last 30 seconds here.
Go for it again. See if Extreme are going to be...
a little toss tower damage, okay.
Radiant's middle tower.
Are they going to try and take the fight off the Aegis that's just about to expire, or will the buildings be given away for free? Some tossed illusions still
this
finish
is
them off.
This is one way to siege a base.
It's all this advantage for PSG Quest, and they still show they can cheese it a little bit too.
This is so cheesy, actually. What is this? This is maybe the dirtiest way to take a Rax I've seen in a long time.
It really is.
Up there with Centaur Retaliate. They get it. They get something that they came for. Back to farming.
Crash Landing's just too good.
It's a lot of damage. Another foray out of the base here. They find the Weaver.
Finally got the Echo Slam initiation with the Requiem to follow it up. They do manage to one-shot the Weaver. Extreme Gaming showing they still have some life left in them. They put together the pieces
Big streak.
to get a pick off.
2,000 gold in their pocket. It's the kill they've been looking for all game. The only question is it too late?
Radiant
It's going to give you a lot of breathing room here. It can accumulate some farm, but not going to stop Quest from looking for stuff.
Yeah, they are still very strong with the other cores, but Ame turning into the Spirit Breaker is going to go for the punish. A quick kill onto Noob. Extreme, once again, overestimating their strength like they did early on in this game, though. Not to underestimate the power of the Elder Titan. Malik, during his spirit form, is dangerous, and that's why Extreme played a little bit slow, wait for the Elder Titan to retreat, and they go for the others. Omar making a run for it. He's a fast hero, will not... Oh, does die actually to the Vessel. Meanwhile, the Primal Split run down to Collis as well. 1 kill turns to 4.
Just misplay from Quest, but XG taking full advantage of the aggressive action. They trade an Ogre for 3 while the Weaver was dead.
And now you could get an Aghanim Scepter for that SF.
BKB for the Morphling too.
Yeah, you can now get that Echo, and that follow-up Requiem is going to do some serious work.
Yeah, so much XP into the brew. 2 big items for XG here. A gem put on XXS taken from Ducalis. That was a major swing, almost 8,000 or 9,000 gold and a lot of XP. Or Quest too confident and maybe too complacent with their lead there. One bad death just spirals for them.
And the funny part is it spirals off of their own decisions. It's not just a single pick off on TA2000, but going for this kill on DY is extremely bold when you're right outside of extreme space like that, and you know the Morphling has been wanting to play as a Spirit Breaker this entire game.
He does some serious damage. We saw the crits coming through. That is not a Daedalus. That is a Crystallis just getting the damage done for Ame. Almost level 25. He has the waveform attack damage. Looking for probably the waveform cooldown. Finish up that Daedalus. Now you have the BKB to deal with the ET Aura. Kind of a powerhouse in the fight. This is where the Morphling can become a problem for them.
And you're probably going to get the time to get those next round of items because PSG Quest is like, oh crap, well now maybe we need another Roshan, and that just means at least another 2 minutes of waiting time.
A refresher for Jin Q would be huge this game. We saw AC for the Brewmaster. XG WBG finding openings in a game where there were almost none. They have a decent chance to maybe turn the corner here. One more team fight, get a Roshan, you're immediately back in this game. And that team fight does not look impossible anymore. You have damage on the Morph. He can commit with the BKB. You could find the initiation, find a start to the team fight with the Earthshaker. Anything's possible here.
That said, Quest, it could also just take one fight for them to finally put the knockout punch.
Oh, that's
the extreme.
a solid
charge on his Q is a really good one, but he doesn't really have much of a team to follow him up here. He's going in deep, and his team can't get there immediately. The Gleipnir to follow up with the Earth Splitter on top of it. Looks like they can get this kill without extreme stopping it.
Did commit a decent amount here with double BKB.
Oh, and the Primal Split's going to get used without catching anything. All he does is throw a stun at TA2000, a defensive toss away from Noob, just to make sure that everybody from Quest gets away. The Primal Split and a kill on an Earthshaker. That's going to give PSG Quest very good control for the Roshan fight.
Ame did get the breaker steal, so he charges out top lane. Going to be pretty fast from him. And rejoin the team, and that'll finish up his Daedalus. Going to buy out for it.
So close to 25 as well. 30 seconds left, and Roshan's going to spawn. Extreme. Probably assuming they have to forfeit it. It's a late enough Roshan that they could contest if they wanted to, but you just have no information about if Quest's doing it right now, how low it is. Noob, it feels unnecessary. You know?
It's a little aggressive.
You don't got to take any risks here, guys. This would be a very big win for PSG Quest. Getting an even series out of one of the best teams in the tournament. Put them on a nice track record to perhaps make it into playoffs.
I mean, I don't know if this fight looks that favorable for them anymore. I think it's really dependent on if Malik can have a huge presence with this Spirit and BKB timing versus Ame, who has his own full duration BKB and a fresh Daedalus to pump out the damage. Might come down to who gets the jump here between the Earthshaker and the Tiny. Particularly if PSG Quest can find Jin Q early on in the fight and take that Shaker out, that is a huge deal. The Spirit can give some vision. You also have creeps pushing into XG WBG's base right now. So you're probably going to lose this mid-racks if you commit to the fight, but it is worth it.
Yeah,
Oh, they're going to TP back.
Okay.
So that's conceding the Roche here.
I think that's actually fair because while it feels like Roshan, they have to contest it, ultimately the only way to win a fight, I think, is off of a good Jin Q initiation. And that setup for PSG Quest that they had, it was going to be impossible for Jin Q to get the right jump.
It's an interesting trade because this is a very valuable Roche. You're looking at Refresher Shard, an Aegis on the Weaver that'll let him go high ground. But in theory, that fight at the high ground is way better for you than that aggressive go.
Yeah.
And you don't lose more of your base here.
And also, being in your base may allow you to play for any buybacks that they have.
Very close to some. You're 300 off the Morph, 400 off the Brewmaster. You would really like to get those off this bottom wave. Make sure you give it to the right people here.
Is under attack.
Just a little bit more, but Quest might push the issue before they get the chance to get those buybacks on very key heroes. We'll see. PSG Quest seems almost a bit skittish about all this.
If you're not going to go high ground now, does this game get much better for you? I don't think it does. The refresher's done on the Shaker. Massive pickup for Jin Q here. Very expensive on the mana, but he does have the Arcane Boots to back it up. Should be able to get everything off twice, guaranteed.
Yeah, like TA 2000's close to Disperser, but is this Disperser changed that much?
Whatever, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're peaking right now. There's just not much more you can do to scale this lineup. I mean, you can get way more items on the Breaker, but everybody else is pretty capped. I think you got to look for some kind of opening here.
Mar traveling to the other side to make sure all the lanes keep pushed in.
I mean, the other way to think about this is, let's say this Aegis expires 4 minutes from now and you don't go high ground. XG, WBG are going to be happy. Their buybacks are all up. They're continuing to find farm on the Morphling. They did not get megas during this period. And the longer this game goes with this lead remaining static, the less meaning it holds. Is this game slipping away from Quest right now? Can they find the way to close it out?
XM and Jin Q, that duo on the left side, they're looking for the jump. That is your team fight. Almost, I feel like it's like 90% of your team fight is just these two guys and the initiation that they can get.
And they see him. They see him on that ward.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they jump the Weaver even with the Aegis, because you have this refresher on the Shaker.
Yeah, the possibility there. Banner's going to be put down. They're going to go for the melee barracks in mid. TA 2000 slow pushing it. BKB goes out, Noob looks for the toss back on the Brewmaster into the Ice Path with the charge in front of the Earthshaker as well, but the Earthshaker got in the Echo Slam, and that was good enough to do some damage, and they do manage to take out the SF on the side of PSG Quest. Just massive damage. Malik and TA 2000 destroyed that one.
The cleave on this Elder Titan, that level 20 talent, absolutely decimated them. Just punched through the skull here of XG.
He goes for the kill though onto Malik. Malik has been trouble, so that's why he identifies the Elder Titan as the one to go for it. Immediate buyback. XM's gonna let loose the Requiem, but most of PSG Quest managed to retreat. Now the charge back in from Omar. Meanwhile, on the side, Ice Path catching the SF. He's in trouble with the stomp in. Malik can finish him. One shot, one kill, easy for Malik, and now he goes for more. Running down XXS. You killed him once, you can't take him a second time though.
I mean, Ame solved his problem, but he did not solve the team's problem. As Malik gets there off that outpost TP, and that should finish up this game. No buybacks available for XG. They found glimmers of hope in these team fights, but ultimately just not enough firepower to take them down. Didn't even get through the Aegis, and Ame is going to get stapled here as PSG Quest.